Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Akeem from Pro Football Exclusive, here to talk about some of the latest news, some recent news we just found out headed towards the 2014 college football season. Two major injuries that I think that's going to affect the upcoming season, as well as a big-time suspension for one particular team. Now, two of these teams I'm going to talk about are in the top 10, and I believe that the rankings should shift just a little bit headed towards this season because of a major injury and a suspension. Let's first talk about these two major injuries I just mentioned. First, headed towards for Oregon at number 4 overall, headed towards this season. They're going to have to play without offensive tackle Tyler Johnstone. He was an actual All Pac-12 honorable mention, and I think this is going to be a major loss, particularly in that offensive line and helping out the run blocking scheme for the Oregon Ducks. I think he's a pretty good run blocker, and I think without him, the Oregon Ducks is going to have to depend more on inexperienced players at the offensive tackle position, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a troublesome for the Oregon Ducks. And I believe because of the loss of Johnstone, I believe that Oregon should bump back a couple of slots headed towards this season. Now, their preseason ranked 4th overall, but I believe that they should drop at least 2 slots behind both Ohio State, who's at number 6, and Auburn, who's at number 5. Now, me personally, I believe that the Ohio State University should bump 2 slots up at number 4, keep Auburn at number 5, and bump Oregon back at number 6 and try to earn their stripes. Now, they still have a high explosive offense, but with a good experienced player and Tyler Johnson, I think that's going to be a major loss. And because of that, I'm a little bit concerned with their offensive line overall because of the inexperience that they're going to have to use to replace him at offensive tackle. But I still think the Oregon Ducks is a good team, but because of that loss, I had to bump them back. Now, the second team I need to talk about is the Duke Blue Devils from the ACC Conference. Now, they're going to have to play without one of their key players, and Kelby Brown, the linebacker. Now, he's going to be out for the remainder of the season because he tore his ACL, and this is going to be a major loss, and I'm going to have to change my prediction of who will make it to the ACC Championship. I actually had Duke playing Florida State in the ACC Championship, but now I changed my mind because of the loss of Kelby Brown. I now have to replace Duke with the Miami Hurricanes to represent their particular division to face against Atlantic Division champion, my prediction, and Florida State Seminoles facing the Coastal Division champion, and I had to switch it up with the Miami Hurricanes to replace the Duke Blue Devils. Now, the reason why I believe that I originally picked Duke was because of their defense, and with this particular key loss on the defensive side, I had to replace Duke with Miami. Now, last but not least, I had to talk about linebacker Frank Shannon from the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, he's actually suspended for the entire season due to violating the sexual conduct policy at OU. Now, earlier in the winter, Shannon was actually accused of having sexually assaulted a young lady, but there was no charges filed against him, and the case was dismissed. But OU had to do some further investigation, and by school policy, they had to suspend Shannon for the remainder of the season, and now he can still appeal, but this is a tough break for the Oklahoma Sooners because he was their actual leading tackler last season. I believe that Frank Shannon is a good particular player, and I think this could still affect the rankings, but I believe not too much for OU. They're actually preseason ranked 3rd overall, and I think they should remain the same because they have a couple of good players to replace him at linebacker, particularly in true sophomore Jordan Evans. I think he can become a great replacement, and I still think he's going to get some good tackles to replace Frank Shannon. But let's not forget, I did mention that Shannon does have the right to appeal, and if he does appeal, he will play for this season, but I'm still a little bit concerned. So for as of today, he's actually suspended until he's appealed. Now, the only thing that he could use for his appeal is that he did not actually get any charges pulled against him, so he could hopefully use that to get back into the team. But if his appeal is denied, he would actually be a non-participant for the athletics as well as the school at Oklahoma University. And this is going to be a tough break, but I still think that Oklahoma should remain number 3 overall, but I still think that Oregon should be bumped back to number 6 because of the loss in offensive lineman and Tyler Johnston. Now, I told you guys before, I'm going to keep continuing things on and give you some of the updated news in college football. We have a couple of weeks left. I cannot wait to start giving you my predictions headed towards this season. I'll see you guys a little bit later. If there's more updated news, I will talk about and give you my personal opinion. But if you don't see me about any updated news, you will see me. The next time you will see me is for week 1 of this season. Thank you for watching today's blog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.